Hello everyone, Dr. Vaughn. I'm going to do a video about this 11.2 homework and the last two questions by request, number 11 and 12. I'm not going to do 11.3 this point because that's for next week, and I'll probably do it on Sunday so I can post it for you early on Monday. But this question, I got a head start on over here. So the hypotenuse of the triangle is 7. One leg of the triangle, I'm going to call that x. The other one is 4 feet longer, so I'm going to write x plus 4. So I have x squared plus x plus 4 squared equals 7 squared by the Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to FOIL this out, and when you FOIL out this term, you get these three things over here. Now, and that's just combining the outside and the inside terms together, the 4x and the 4x to get the 8x, and then squaring the other two things. Then I'm going to subtract the 49 over and get minus 33, and I'm going to collect the 2x squareds together to get 2x squared. Okay, so let's take it from here. Now I have a quadratic equation, and I'm just going to solve using the quadratic formula. So x equals minus b, which is minus 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared is 8 squared minus 4 times a times c, negative 33, all over 2 times a. Now, I want to point out that the minus here, we're going to ignore that one because if I had minus minus, x would turn out to be negative, and you can't have x to be negative as the length of the leg of a triangle. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm really only going to worry about the positive solution here, minus 8 plus the square root and all over 4. And I'm just going to use my calculator to figure this out. 64 minus 4 times 2 times negative 33. I'll probably start with the 4 times 2 times negative 33. So that's 264, and I have a plus. So I have 64 plus 264, which turns out to be 328. And now I'll just work this number on my calculator to get the first solution for x. I'm going to take the square root of 328. I'm going to subtract 8. And I'm going to divide by 4. And I get 2.527. 2.5 is rounded. So that's what I'm going to enter over here for the shorter leg. And then the longer leg, remember, was 4 feet longer. So if this was 2.5, this was going to be 6.5. All right, now we're going to go on to question 12. And this is, again, just an applied problem. You got these two mechanics. They take 3 hours to rebuild an engine. When they work together, if they each worked alone, they could complete the hour 1 hour faster than the other. How long would it take each of them to rebuild the engine? I don't want to go into too much detail about solving these kind of work rate problems. You've probably seen them before, but the thing I always remember is if T1 is the time spent for one person and T2 is the time spent for the other one, and I call the third thing T together, the total time spent together, which should always be shorter than the other two times because it should be better when you work together. The thing that relates these together is the reciprocals, and that's because instead of the number of hours to do one job, it's the number of the proportion of the job that you can do in 1 hour. So I'm going to set one of these to be x, and I'm going to call the other one 1 hour more, so that's x plus 1. And then the time spent doing it together in this case is going to be 3. So this gives me a rational equation, and I'm going to go through and clear all the fractions away by multiplying by the least common denominator, which is 3 times x plus 1. So over here, the x cancels, and I have 3 and the x plus 1. Over here, the x plus 1 cancels, and I have 3x. And on this side, only the 3 cancels, and I have x times x plus 1. Now, this is a quadratic equation. I just need to multiply everything out and get it over to the same side. So here I have x squared plus x. And on this side, I have 3x plus 3x is 6x plus 3. So I'm going to subtract the 6x over, subtract the 3 over, and I finally arrive at my quadratic equation. X squared, I had plus x minus 6x, so now it's minus 5x. And then the minus 3 comes over, and all that equals 0. Again, I don't think this factors, so I would just jump immediately to the quadratic formula. And because I'm talking about time, you wouldn't run time backwards, so I'm looking for positive solutions for x or t or whatever you want to call it in this case. So x is equal to minus b, that's 5, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's 25, minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 3, all over 2 times a. So I get 5 plus or minus, pretty sure this number is going to turn out to be smaller than 5. So square root of 25 plus 12, so that's 37, all over 2. So you see the 37 is bigger than 5. Square root of 37 is bigger than 5 because 5 squared would be 25. So again, I'm going to ignore the minus as nonsensical in this case because you can't run time backwards. You can't spend a negative amount of time to do this job. So the solution I'm looking for is the positive one, which is going to be 5 plus square root of 37 over 2. And then the other one's going to be 1 more than that. So now I'll do my calculator work, and then I'll put in the, let's see, Bonita is the faster one. And so she's going to be the smaller one. So she's going to be this number that we are going to calculate right here. So I'll go 5 plus 37 square root equals, and then divide by 2. And I get 5.54. And they want this rounded to 2 decimal places, 5.54. And then Pamela is 1 hour more than that, so I'll just put 6.54. All right, and that's how you do questions 11 and 12 on section 11.2 homework. Hope this has been helpful to you. See you next time.